frequency in a way that does not cause confusion, chaos, and damage to your brain's cognitive functioning. Extremely accelerated within your molecular structure of the earth. The energy frequency that has shifted within the ley lines and the grids and the pathways that provide a structure not only to the matter of the earth but to your organic matter of the vessel has increased at a rate that is accelerating the ability to receive consciousness in a higher expression of truth. However, what this does to the vessel is that it creates a discord as it adjusts to the new vibrational frequency that is available. This vibrational frequency is unable to be received by the current expression of the organic matter based on the disruption that is taking place within the neural pathways and other influential experiences. When we speak into influential experiences, we are expressing that there are aspects of your reality that are receiving subliminal programming, influence through energetics and frequency technology, as well as your own internal separation through the separate mind, which is based up of your sum of experiences, and the stories that your mind has created that hold a vibrational resonance and frequency or narrative that creates a sense of separation from the ability to receive high frequency of God Source Creator energy. This energy is unable to be received and witnessed in the totality, and what is taking place is a disruption in the brain's neural pathways. This disruption is causing an intense tethering between the left and the right inner standing of what unification in thought is. Separation will continue to be that of what your consciousness chooses until there is a point of expression where the left and the right hemispheres of the brain can work in unison together. If one does not choose a unified thought form of experiencing their brain in totality or wholeness, what will take place is that the individual will continue to move through their evolutionary process in an ascension process and then followed by a descension process. This follows the guidelines of universal law in the elements of what must go up must come down. This is the way that your human collective is currently choosing to shift into a new expression of their evolutionary process. It has the old representation of what has been programmed and how you are to receive information. By receiving information in a way that your brain moves it from the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere, to the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere, as you continue to move from the aspects of ascension and descension through light and dark and through polarity, which is what you are currently experiencing, your dualistic expression of self. As you are invited to experience from a more total and unified expression of self and asked to witness your life experience in the lens of totality and wholeness, you will start to allow for your neural pathways to receive these higher expressions of frequency in your brain so that you are able to anchor them into your physical vessel and experience. This is only possible when the neural pathways are invited through intentional conscious thought to choose a new pathway of information, receiving, and opportunity. As the human consciousness is the super consciousness, and anything that is thought in its human expression through a present moment of choice, You are able to start to shift that of the old subconscious and shadow conscious aspects, or the areas of distorted expressions that are yet to be seen in the light of information, that this shadow aspect of consciousness will start to merge with the light, and you are able to witness all of life in totality. The shifting out of the human identity is the merging of both sides of the hemispheres of the brain, so that the brain can light up and experience information in its whole expression of truth. When you look at an enlightened mind's brain's neuropathways, you will see that all aspects of the brain are highlighted in moments of meditation and experiences using different altered states of consciousness. The brain has the ability to use all parts when we release the idea that it is separate and that it can only use a portion of the brain's function. In your super consciousness, your human conscious perspective, humans choose to consciously choose to have a human experience of wholeness, and they choose this as a devotional practice. That as they make this conscious choice, the energetic frequency and the cerebrum cortex, which is the division between the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, so that the brain can start to merge into one whole organism. Over time, as humans go through the reincarnation cycle and the organic matter changes into a more fifth dimensional structure, you will find that the division between left and right in your not only your perspective but your physicality will start to shift, and there will become a point of equilibrium. This equilibrium will allow for consciousness to be received at a higher state of dimensional awareness. Currently, the majority of the human consciousness has a maximum receptivity of the ninth dimension. There are very few beings that are able to receive and channel information or expressions beyond the ninth dimension of receivership. This is causing a distortion within some of the expressions of truth, as they are still functioning from a place of dualistic thinking. Dualistic consciousness is that of Eva, the ascended or the descended expression of returning to God's source creator. An ascended being, one that chooses that of the expression of rising to return to God, will experience from a lens of ascending the frequency. Yet this is not a maintainable experience, as you cannot harness an ascended frequency without the mastering and the understanding of dissension and matter. The descended consciousness beings will choose that returning to source means meaning the furthest point of separation in creation to return to the light. This means that they will destroy and disrupt their own thought forms till the point of severance occurs, that they can return back to God's source creator. Whilst you have these continued agendas within your collective consciousness and the beings that are currently working as the councils or the different uh, organizations that are running your planet, they do not desire for a collective consciousness that has become unified, as their belief systems are attached to these being the correct way to return to source. What we would like to express is there is no wrong or right way, and that this is a belief system and a way of movement through evolution and creation. Some prefer to evolve in the form of lower vibrational experience. Some prefer to evolve in the form of higher vibrational experience. Some prefer to no longer choose to tether between that of what is light or dark in the human experience and choose a unified perspective, which allows for you to see both lenses simultaneously. Regardless, the consciousness of the planet is shifting into a higher frequency, in which what will take place is the awareness that a descended consciousness or a lower vibrational frequency experience or being will no longer be able to maintain life on the planet. What this means is that there will be certain aspects of creation that will eventually die off, be destroyed, and transmuted into a new form of life. As the bandwidth increases, that which does not fit within the bandwidth must dissolve. It can no longer live within the vibrational frequency unless it evolves into a higher ability to receive this energetic resonance. What this means for your collective is what you are currently experiencing, a shift and an extreme point of severance. The tipping point has occurred, and when the tipping point occurred, a majority of beings were choosing to ascend into a higher truth. And what takes place is that the soul and the directive of the consciousness internally guides the spirit to choose a point of unity within the being that provides a different experience. However, this awakening that has happened on a mass scale is causing disruption and resistance to the realization that as a collective you have been told many mistruths. When you realize and you awaken to the fact that your reality was a distortion and an illusion, the egoic constructs and the identities that have been created become angry, resistant, and rebellious. Then there is a tendency to push against what you are witnessing rather than accept and allow for a further inner standing of what is taking place. This inner standing means that in these points of rebellion that are increasing in the push and pull dynamic, which is a survival mechanism, as the shift in consciousness takes place and you have the descended consciousness having no choice but to either raise their frequency or die, there is a tendency to force and control in the name of life. These descended aspects of self are only desiring life. When you start to witness and acknowledge that a being that is in that much separation is living, they do not know any other way to live. They feed off energetic expressions so that they have life force within their own being, that they are able to maintain a sense of consciousness. When one being is so far from the point of God source creator, and they are in that much separation, they do not have their own connection to source. Source is energy. Without energy, there is death. Death means that to maintain life in that much separation, one would have to feed off the life of another. In this awareness, you can have a sense of compassion for those that are choosing the descended expression of life and creation, and start to acknowledge those aspects of yourself. When you are meeting a point of separation or a feeling of death, there is a point where you will either start to desire to feed off another or meet the opportunity of returning to source, to rebirth or evolve beyond and allow that identity or previous consciousness to transmute into a new life form, a new frequency, or you will choose death. There is a large amount of beings that are currently choosing to exit this experience. They are not choosing to evolve and they will be unable to maintain life. This is being shown through multitudes of ways. This is a necessary part of evolution. Evolution cannot occur without death, rebirth, or life. These are the simplistic structures of universal law. Life exists until death occurs. And rebirth is the possibility where we allow for aspects of the self that are not our true identities or our true essence to go through cycles of death. This process will take time. And as you sit in the tipping point currently, you will see the fight for life. This is the tethering between the shadow and the light. This is the tethering between the death and the choice to live. What we would like to remind you is that this does not have to be seen in a detrimental perspective, but from a recognition of whether or not one is choosing to consciously live, to choose to consciously die. If you choose to see that there is a death, rebirth, and life cycle, what within yourself is ready to die, and what life is ready to emerge? This will allow for the rebirth process and a conscious commitment to change in the most easeful way where you can meet God's source creator and the information through self-reflection. Allow yourself the time and space to reflect on this message and to bear witness to what it brings up within you energetically, consciously, or spiritually. Thank you for receiving this transmission. We look forward to the next point in time that we get to share. Until then, remember, you are exactly what you're looking for.